Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide. A busy weekend ahead, loads to look forward to. Arguably one of the greatest two-year-old races we've had for many a year. And also we're delighted that the Betfred sponsor at Haydock this weekend. And we've got the Shergar Cup at Ascot. Jason Weaver alongside me as ever. And Jason, we've got the Shergar Cup, as I mentioned, this big team event. We've got the Racing League got underway on Thursday as well. So like team events really to the fore right now.
Yeah, I think that, the Racing League had to slot in because last year they ran into a Goodwood meeting and that sort of made it a little bit messy. So they've had to shift it a little bit. So it does run into the Shergar Cup a touch. However, when you think that we have, well over 1,000 meetings throughout the season and everything else, it's only a small portion. The Racing League is 6 Thursday evenings. And the Shergar Cup has become a bit of a staple, really, hasn't it? I remember when the jockeys were just two teams and they rode in red and white breeches at the Goodwood meeting many moons ago. I think McCann actually rode in the very first one of those, and it's just stepped up. Look, it's a team concept. It's a little bit different, and it's fun for the family.
It certainly is, yeah, loads of fun. We'll look at the Ascot races a little later on some of the card there, but we're going to start in, for me, it really is an absolute crack. It's the Group 1 Phoenix Stakes over at the Curragh. We've got the Coventry winner, the Windsor Castle winner, the July Stakes winner, the Robert Papin winner. This is a high caliber juvenile contest. We get an idea of the pecking order as well.
Yeah, look, if everybody was going to Ascot, one of the draws is they have a ladies jockeys team, if you're allowed to even call them that now. Look, jockeys team. But Hayley, Holly was obviously going to be there. She now has switched across to here, obviously, to ride Bradsell. So Joanna Mason has stepped in over at the Shergar Cup. Great opportunity for her. Look, Bradsell, he looked really good winning on debut. No mistake. Son of Tasleep, we know that he was a superstar little sprinter, seemed to go on all sorts of ground, but he's taken it to another level in the Stallion Shed. Persian Force, can he be the one to get Ross O'Ryan through the ceiling and break that Group 1 hoodoo? He's gone knocking on the door loudly. Ammo Racing have put a huge amount into the contest. And then Blackbeard and also Little Big Bear. Ryan Moore, he's decided to stick with Little Big Bear in here. So that's going to be interesting from a punting perspective, even though he's £5 inferior on official ratings. What is wrong? You tell me. What is wrong with Shartash down the bottom? One of Johnny Murtagh's came through, had to squeeze through a little gap to get his head in front last time. He's on the improve. He's got a wonderful pedigree. And I just think he's been pushed to the side as far as the market is concerned. I don't know what you feel. I mean, it's a great little race, but he looks destined for the top table.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting he stuck it in. It really is in at the deep end here. I mean, I say it's one of the races for the ages. Everything's there. Every best juvenile you want is there. You're taking them all on with Johnny Murtagh. He's avoided all the big clashes so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, he managed to win last time, and he's got the better of the O'Brien runner on that occasion. He gets up late in the day. He didn't quite get the rub of the green. On ratings, he's not a million miles behind them. 3 starts, improving. Everybody's going to latch on to Bradsell. Look, he's a Coventry winner. Archie Watson, he'll be gone and this will be ready to go, make no mistake. However, Shartash will just be sneaking in behind the leaders. And I feel 6 furlongs up here will suit him perfect.
There we are. Then. Well, a little bit from left field, I think. There, Shartash in the Group 1 Phoenix Stakes. So we're delighted that we're sponsoring here at Betfred at Haydock this weekend. We've got the Rosa Lancaster, the big race. But first of all, want to have a look at this 225. It's a mile handicap, and quite a bit of rain around. This is what the ground is. It's right, probably on the soft side of good. That might suit the likes of Young Fire. And you got Mr. McCann in here, who's thought a one-time Derby hope for Hugo Palmer.
Yeah, for me, I'd have to stick with Mr. McCann. He's one of those who probably this is his ideal trip. If you think early on this campaign, they set him off over further. They came back down in trip. He actually ran over in Cologne behind Maljoom. We know Maljoom, how strong that form is, with him coming out and running an absolute cracker in the St. James's Palace. He's not been highly tried this year. He managed to make all around here last season over 7 furlongs. But I do think there's one in there, La Trinidad, who's likely to push forward and set the race up for him. He'd be the one to go on. He gets cheek pieces on for the first time. And Tom Marquand, what a fantastic booking as far as he is concerned for Mr. McCann. I think that he'll just slot his way around behind the leaders and be able to pounce late in the day.
Mr. McCann then for Jason, the 225. And you mentioned Tom Marquand. He's on the market leader in the Betfred Rosa Lancaster as well, the feature, the Group 3. For me, this is my personal opinion, I think he's massive underpriced. I thought he was massively flattered at Newby. Yes, he was impressive. I don't think those in behind did much. The Jessica Harrington, now Kevin Biddapart, the Foy horse, trying to think of his name, flattered to deceive once again, pulled too hard. So I think he's worth taking on. We've got the John Smiths first and third, and Matt and Intelligence stepping up. We've got some old favourites here as well. I know Brentford Hope, we could probably have bought that horse going back. You and I, amount of times we've backed that. It's a real good card, a good field as well. 10 of them turning up.
Yeah, it's a weather watch as far as Brentford Hope is concerned, isn't it? You know, we know his ideal conditions. He's much, much better when everything else is struggling and the ground is sticky and testing. And he could easily run into a place at a massive price. He shouldn't be overlooked in here. Pat Dobbs gets the leg up. He also has the cheek pieces on for the first time. Owen Burrows. I think he's only got about 5 or 6 horses in his stable. It's remarkable, isn't it? And yet he's had some tremendous success. Wins the big race up at York last time off a mammoth layoff. Why on earth wouldn't he run well? Peter the Great, Chelmsford and Headquarters wins. And you're right. I mean, Grocer Jack, the only thing that makes me think that he's a lot better than we've seen so far is the fact that he nearly ran away at Newbury. And I thought, well, he's got to stop. He has to stop. And he didn't. He opened up and he went away again in the closing stages. I find, and even the handicapper, he's put him up £8 from a ratings perspective, from 110 to 118, which makes him head and shoulders the best in this particular lineup. So I think he's worthy at the top of the market. But if you were looking away from them, Brentford Hope, if he gets his ground, and down the bottom, I think Royal Champion is just slotting into high singles, maybe low double-digit numbers. He rates an each-way play off the back of a good Epsom win. So Grocer Jack is a strong favourite, but it has an each-way look about it.
Yeah, that's why I approached it as well. Looking forward to it. I think it's an absolute cracking make-up to the race as well. The 3 o'clock at Haydock, the Betfred at Rosa Lancaster. We'll head off to HQ as well because we've got ITV cameras are there. There's a Group 3 for the juvenile fillies, the Sweet Solera. 9 set to go to post. 8 of them already know the winner's enclosure is. The only maid in the field, though, was placed at Royal Ascot. Another great contest to look forward to.
Yeah, and probably the Royal Ascot form will come to the fore. One of the girls who ran against the boys was Lakota Sue. She ran in the Cheshire behind Holloway Boy. Was a good performance. Little bit worried. She's a real tail swisher. Now, sometimes this can be signs of temperament and not wanting to get on with it. It doesn't seem to stop her. She's just a little bit waspy throughout the contest. And she did that all the way when chasing home Holloway Boy. I mean, Dandy's Alley's at the top, Nottingham win. Al-Sayoub off a Headquarters win for Ismail Mohammed. But I keep going back down. Carl Burke has only recently had the Sheikh Mohammed Obeid runners in the stable. And Novakai was a real good winner at Doncaster. Watched it back again. She just came down there with her nose in the air. She was a little bit of a troublesome so-and-so down at the gate and in the prelims beforehand, but settled into a nice rhythm. She opened up for a 4.5 length success and came down with her nose in the air. So she can only improve. I think it's a big jump up. Carl Burke doesn't normally just throw them straight in the, in the deep end. It was a disappointing Glorious Goodwood for the team, but hopefully they can get back on track. Novakai.
Yeah, interesting. I have an eye on York as well with some of his stars, dramatised et al. As well. He's got a strong juvenile department, hasn't he? It's interesting. This is the one he's chosen to take up this engagement.
Yeah, I think so. When you're bringing in Royal Ascot form, like Lakota Sue, it's already a strong level. Holloway Boy came out. He just got out Holloway, didn't he, at the Glorious Goodwood meeting, the fast and late. But that gave the form at least a nice, solid look. All the others, I mean, you're going through and you're hoping that they take a jump forward from where they are. But just strictly at the market, Novakai, sort of speed figures around about a mid-90s. So she's knocking on to being pretty decent already.
Brilliant. Talking about Ascot, Ascot is our next destination. And it's not a Royal meeting this weekend. It is the Shergar Cup, of course, the team event. We mentioned it at the top of the show. I want to look at the 210. First of all, which is the Shergar Cup dash over the Flying Five films. We've got Lampang in here, who either wins or bombs out for Tim Easterby. And Frankie Dettori catches the eye rider for Julie Camacho on the old boy Judicial, fresh from the yard, having a 4-timer on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I think that the Dettori factor will be in play at Ascot, won't it? Look, he's had the kick up the backside from John Gosden. He seems to have pulled his finger out and got himself motivated. Great little race, isn't it? Hurricane Ivor, what a wonderful little horse he's been. Lampanger, you mentioned, ran in the Stewards Cup, didn't quite happen for him. McCann is the only 3-year-old in the lineup, and I'm always respectful of a John Ryan runner. I think he's one of them trainers that you just cannot pass over. So he shouldn't be underestimated with Hayley Turner on board. Definitely a player. But you're right, Judicial, he's a hold-up performer and he'll be produced late. Is he not just absolutely tailor-made for Dettori? We've seen him on Locksong up on the front end. We've seen him on some good hold-up performers as well. I think he's going to enjoy riding this lad, isn't he? Be able to drop him in, forget about him in the early stages. Silky Dettori gets down in the drive late on and the old boy just starts to fly. I think it'll be poetry in motion for Judicial with that man on top.
To continue the yards, fantastic run of form then for the Camachos. Judicial, the 10-year-old in the dash from the sprinters to the stayers then at 2:45 over the 2 miles. Top of the which is Rock Eagle, a horse that I know we've backed a couple of times this year, and I got second at Newbury. But then the question is, what price could Superjack go off? He's won at the track already. How unlucky was he at Glorious Goodwood?
Yeah, that's one of the ones that Kieran O'Neill will want to forget, isn't it? You know, he just got caught in traffic coming down the hill. Master Milliner was away and gone, and he absolutely flew home. So, look, he's Grealish, super unlucky, wasn't he? You know what I mean? He just fell over. I got a little touch of the ball, and over he went, as is often the case. But, look, Rock Eagles cost us a fortune. Why didn't he go and win against Rishun when we saw him last time? You know, it turned into a bit of a real grind late on, and he was outpointed. Some old favourites, Redford has been all around the world. Throne Hall, another one who's, you know, I followed off the edge of a cliff, set it up in an amateur race. I think it was 4 starts ago, behind Zealander, who's a non-runner-up at Doncaster, having got down to the start and was a red-hot favourite, but has continued to run really, really well. At least there's some consistency going in there. Emma Jane Wilson's a great booking for Archie Watson. And you go down, it's got to be Superjack. Everybody saw the way that he stayed on late in the day. He was caught in traffic. Nicola Curry actually has herself a good couple of rides. She needs a real springboard for her career to get back going. Managed to get the silver saddle last year. She will be hoping very much for more of the same.
Yeah, and she had a few good rides at Doncaster on Thursday night as well, didn't she, in the racing league? So yeah, silver saddle winner. Yeah, interesting. Superjack in the stayers. Right, the mile at 3:55. Some interesting runners in here. A couple coming over from Ireland. David O'Mara responsible for a couple as well. But I'm guessing many will latch on to Montasib, who's fancy for the Golden Mile, but was pulled out late on.
Yeah, he, prior to that, had ran really, really well in the Bunbury Cup behind Blessing. And look, he's got that sort of profile, hasn't he, that you're running real big handicaps, you were on the improve. There's every reason that he's going to continue. Danny Tudhope, I'm sure that the Haggis team are absolutely thrilled with that, to get rolled that dice as far as the jockeys are concerned, because we know that he teams up with him. Via Serendipity goes really well at this strip. You've got Bo Pedro, ex-Irish, first run for the team was an absolute cracker in the Porsche handicap. Spencer gets the leg up. Again, O'Mara is going to be absolutely thrilled with that. And his other runner, I thought was interesting, Shaleer, seemed to have a bit of a nice pipe opener at York the other day. And Christophe Lemaire, absolute worldie in the saddle. I'm hoping that he gets a little bit of luck. But I think I go back again to the Dettori factor. Now, I've got nothing against Rowan Scott. I think he's a brilliant rider and he gets on really well with Isla Kai. However, how has he not managed to win so far this term? When you think back to his runs at Newbury and all of those races in the Spring Miles and everything else, he just deserves a little change of luck. Now, Dettori will go to the front unless somebody goes stupid. And I think that's where they've been failing. They've just gone blind. We must go to the front and get on with it. And I think he's a little bit more flexible than that. So Dettori on board can make the difference, and certainly deserving of a victory for the Tinkler team.
There we are then, yes, Novakai coming down from the north. Right, the final race we want to look at then on the busy weekend of action is the final Shergar Cup race, the 8th and final one. It's the sprint for the 3-year-olds at 5:05. I think all eyes will be on Spangled Mac. Can he get the 5-timer for George Bowie?
Yeah, he's climbed £20 in the ratings for his 4 victories so far, but I think he backed up really, really quickly last time, and so he's been having, by his standards, a bit of a break. 16 days since we last saw him. Admiral D, I thought that was a real big run from him last time behind an all-the-way winner. Resina had to go up to Carlisle to get its head in front. And you work your way around them. There's an old favourite of ours in here, Matt, isn't there? And that's Tolstoy, who goes now for the Stuart Williams team. They went in to the tune of 70,000 to pick him up from the horses in training sale, and not something that they do very, very lightly. And he has a real good record with horses coming out of this nursery ground. He knows that they've been looked after. They've been fed the best. They've looked after the engine properly, and they go through the sales thing. That's why they cost so much money. But with his pedigree and off the back of a win last time, I don't think 97 is anywhere near his full sort of potential. Jason Collett gets the leg up. He's a crack Australian rider coming across at the moment, hoping to show how good he is to pick up one of our superstar stayers as far as the Melbourne Cup is concerned. So Tolstoy, hopefully a quick return on the 70,000 they bought him for at the horses in training sale.
Yeah, fingers crossed for Stuart Williams then in the lucky last in Ascot. There's 8 of the races. It's going to be a real busy Saturday. Cannot wait for the racing action to get underway. What would be the idea of a best bet on the cards?
I think that I'll definitely be going Dettori to win leading rider at the Shergar Cup. It's just like him to come out of the shadows and pull his finger out and get a big victory on the board. I'll be going absolutely crazy as far as the goals galore are concerned. That's the big kickoff, isn't it? I'll be coming out with my shopping list as usual, ready to go. My phone will be beeping madly in my pocket, and I'll try not to look as if I'm staring at it all the time. Maybe, do you know what? I think maybe Mr. McCann for Hugo Palmer and Tom Marquand would be the idea of the winner up at Haydock in the Playfred's 5 million handicap, the 225. He's suited to the nature of the track up at Haydock, and he shot particularly high behind Maljoom when we saw him a couple of starts back. So, yeah, he'd be the best, I think, along with the goals.
Yes, get on the goals galore. The Premier League is back. I know you love your goals galore. So get those on as well for the start of the football. And Mr. McCann, the idea of a best bet on what is a very busy day. You can see Jason in front of the TV all Saturday afternoon. Wherever you're backing though this week, the very best of luck.